T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey y'all, what is up? It is your sister, your girl Jamaica. Good morning. Happy Saturday. I'm sorry for the delay, but listen, I'm on real mommy time and my children dictate what is going to happen in the mornings, especially on Saturdays. So all is well over here in the cost residence. And so I am here with you guys. I'm gonna try not to be on here for long, but I would love to know who's in here with me this morning. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've been on any of these platforms, and it's been for a good cause and a good reason. And I feel blessed of the Lord. What's good, Apri? We need to connect. I feel blessed of the Lord today. I've been in a real season of just seeking the face of God, not only for myself, not only for my family, but interceding for others, as many of you have as well. And so that's kind of what I've been up to, starting off this new year. What's up, Sharonda, my big sis? So I'm on here real quick. If you guys don't mind sharing this, if you feel led to, if not, that's cool. I'm just glad y'all chimed in. But I'm just on here for a couple minutes just to share some things that have come to my attention in the spirit and also just in life, in my natural life. In the midst of my seeking and digging, I've been in a digging season. And what that means for me is when God exposes something to you, when God reveals to you, like, there's something I want to talk to you about, there's something that I want to address. There's some things that that are holding us back, from really walking out what I've called you to do, who you are, your identity in yourself. I've been digging. And so in that digging process, there's two words that have come to me, and that's codependency and unworthiness. And so I just wanted to kind of chime in on these two areas and look too on these two areas, and how I wanted to share it with you so that we can let these things go, so we can really see. Like, I don't want to hear about Jesus no more. When I say I don't want to hear about it, I want to live the life of Jesus. I want to live out what the Holy Spirit was sent for. I don't just want to hear it as like some anomaly, because it's not, it's the truth. And one thing that I've learned even over these last couple months, in particular for myself, is that, just because it doesn't feel good doesn't mean it's not the truth. Doesn't mean that when truth gets presented to us that it's supposed to feel good, because truth is gonna expose any falsities in your life. Truth is gonna expose anything that you've been living in, that you've got accustomed to, that ain't God. And I'm just being honest with you. Sometimes it can be so subtle. Some ways the enemy works and can be so cunning is that, snakes generally don't come running up on you loudly. They usually come up and sneak up on you quietly, and they become insidious where you don't know they're there until they bite you. And those are the type of things that I want you to be aware of, sis, and aware of, bro, is that when God starts revealing these little things that are not him, they've become character traits that you've actually ascribed to be you and a part of you, and God starts saying, that's not me. I want you to give that to me. It's so important to heed to it. So let me just give you a couple examples. I love examples because sometimes you don't know you really in it until somebody give you those trigger words where you're like, oh yeah, I do that, or oh yeah, I can agree with that, or I've seen that in my own life. And so I just wanted to give you some trigger words about codependency and unworthiness. So with codependency is literally what it is. It's when you literally live your life in an inordinate way of dependency on someone else or something else other than God. There ought to be a codependency on God. And when I say codependency, that means God's depending on you too. That means he sent his spirit into the land. His spirit cannot move and function and be, listen, who he has designed himself to be without your participation. That person is not receiving healing if you didn't lay hands on them or you didn't speak into the atmosphere through your living mouth. And so God, that's the reason why he has said, I have need of you, right? I send you. He sent the disciples 2 by 2. He said, I send you, go out into the land, go out into the world. And we are still on that commission. And so without understanding that codependency in God, we won't ever get it. But codependency on people, sometimes that happens at times when we were at real deep places of unworthiness in our lives. Sometimes we struggle with not feeling like we're the smartest ones, or not feeling like we're capable, or not being the one that's always called, not the one that was the shiniest bulb in the light, not the one that was the sharpest tool in the drawer. And it's like, all right, you might have experienced that elementary school, middle school, high school, and then into adult life. You might have made some major mistakes that you have yourself been so hard on yourself about, that God is, of course, already forgiving you of if you repented and you turned, but yet you still stayed in that state. Like, that place that you were in was so painful that it made you start depending on people inordinately. So how does that look? Sometimes that looks like you can't go anywhere without somebody. That means you always need somebody. Like, sometimes we can be codependent on family, where it's like, I can't move without them. I can't, when I have friendships or even work interactions, it's like I can't move without them, or I can't move without that person that's in your family. Sometimes we have family members that are like staples and they're pillars. I know for a season in my life, I was a definitely a pillar in my family, where I was like, all right, everybody is asking me about something, or in need of something together, but it had nothing to do with me. It was just something that God put inside of me. But if we're not careful, we will make that person a codependent in our lives. So what that really means is, like, as we start moving forward and start living and moving. I'm sorry, 1 second, y'all. What's up? Oh, okay, go tell Drew. He's in the garage. Sorry, y'all. um sometimes you yeah, go tell Drew. Sorry, y'all. And so, what was I about to say? I didn't forgot. Yeah, so you can, sometimes it can be inordinate, where we need to be around each other instead of wanting to be around each other. That means sometimes it could be you sit on the phone with somebody all day long. I remember a season in my life where if I was not on the phone, I would be on the phone with somebody from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed at night. Can somebody else ascribe to that? Like, I had to be on the phone with a boyfriend. I had to be on the phone with my best friend. Like, it's cool to have people in your life. It's cool to have people that you communicate with, but there should be no reason why we sit on the phone with somebody from sun up to sundown. And that is an inordinate codependency. And some people might not agree with me, but I know personally in my life, when I was in that season where I always needed, we weren't even talking. We would just be sitting on the phone breathing. What that makes absolutely no sense. That just meant I just didn't want to be alone. And it had a lot to do with my feelings of abandonment and rejection. Anybody with me? Are y'all still here? I just want to know if anybody's in the room with me. Let me know by some hearts or something, because I know I'm talking right. I know it don't feel right sometimes, but I know I'm talking right. What's up, Kamari? So, all right. Hey, Kanisha. So, yeah, so I'm just in here talking about codependency and unworthiness. And so, yeah, that was a big part of when I realized that I had this negative codependency on people around me, because I didn't want to be alone. So that was just one of my examples of inordinate codependencies, when you're depending on people. I used to sit, like I said, on the phone with somebody all day long. That means from the moment I woke up, I called them and I just listened to them breathing. And I wasn't a teenager. Teenagers would do stuff like that or whatever, but I wasn't a teenager. I was an adult doing that. And it was just because I was afraid to maneuver through life by myself. And I didn't realize that they weren't doing anything to help my life at that point. We were just talking and a lot of times gossiping, which is another thing that would try to creep in. You talking about nonsense. You're not even, what you're talking about is not even advantageous to your life. You're just sitting there talking about people and talking about things that's going on. Can I be real with y'all? Like, this is years ago. This is in my 20s, but still it was an inordinate relationship. Another form of codependency can happen with your children. I know that probably doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. But sometimes when we don't want to face some things about ourselves, we'll just drown ourselves in our children's lives. And a lot of times that will show up even in your children's adulthood. Your child is now an adult, but now you live vicariously through your child, or your child is a teenager. And all of a sudden you start living vicariously through them because you didn't get on the basketball team. Now you pushing them beyond what they even want to do to be the greatest basketball player. And that ends up being, again, another part of codependency. The your child is not even looking to be the next Jordan, and you're making him be the next Jordan because it was something that you just didn't feel like you may have accomplished in your life. And so all of a sudden you become ingrained. Your children become like idols. Come on, somebody. I know it don't feel good, but I'm telling the truth. Your children become idols in your life. Like, it's like you just continuously make them everything in your life. You don't even recognize even yourself anymore. It's just, and I'm not telling us to be good parents. Like, that's not, I'm talking about when it becomes inordinate because of unworthiness, because of our own rejections, our own abandonments we faced in the past. I'll just be candid. I remember a season in my life when my daughter was going through a lot. She was having a lot of developmental delays and situations, and I almost made her illness like an idol. I mean, everything I did, everything I thought, everything I was just completely immersed in it. And I started even losing sight of her, and I started just focusing on the disorder. And just trying to believe that I could overcome and tackle this disorder. It became like a target of attack for me, more than a nurturer, more than one that is really trying to help my daughter. I became so fixated on the situation. And the reason was because of my own unworthiness at that time, because I was like, I ain't gonna let nobody do to her what they did to me. I ain't gonna let her be the one that didn't get picked for kickball. I ain't gonna be the one that they didn't let play double dutch, in the neighborhood. And so I began to just like try to make sure that her life was perfect, that she didn't face the things I faced, but that's not reality. you know a priest said, yes, it will. I realize that, and now I have to break, and I'm showing them to be independent. A pre One thing I love about Jesus is that Jesus was like, I'm gonna teach you how to fish. He said, throw your net out. Jesus could have went out there and just told the fish to just jump in the boat. Jesus could have went out there and threw the net himself, but nah, he said, this is how you pray, our Father. He was like, God was the epitome of the example of, I'm gonna teach you how to, but I don't need you to be codependent on me in this season because I'm about to go. That's what the Lord said. He's like, shall I be with you always? Like, in the flesh, I cannot remain here in this flesh because there's a greater work. With all of y'all in numbers, y'all gonna reach nations with the word of God. Y'all gonna preach and teach about me. I'm in one mortal body at this time, but when I leave here, you will be ignited to be able to go out and be fishers of men. Come on, somebody. That's what Jesus showed us. It was the epitome and example, and I use that for our children today, because them being dependent can cripple them, causing another issue of arrested development. That word arrested development, I went through a good season with that word for a good year of arrested development. God spoke to me greatly about that. He was like, yo, you crippling her more than what you're facing. Listen, I went through that season and I was like, help me. He was like, nah, you trying to help yourself with your unworthiness. You feel what I'm saying? It was like you trying to create this image of, yes, she looked like you, everything. People say she talked like you, her mannerism is like you, but she's not you. And so I want you to live your life going forward, but pour into her and help her. But don't be codependent on her to try to make yourself valuable. You're already valuable. Oh man, I know I'm in the vein, but it blessed me to know like my child is on her own path, and she doesn't, and I don't have to shield her and try to protect her from experiencing some of the things that I faced in life if I've taught her well. Like God told me to teach her in the way that she should go, that when she's old, she won't depart. Like that's my charge, is to teach you, but not to make sure you never fall. You ever, I remember with my, even with our 1 year old now, I'm like, I'd be like, don't run. And it's like, no, let her run. Don't try to prevent her from falling. Just teach her how to fall. Teach her what to do. Teach her what not to trip over. Teach her the dangers. But don't just tell her not to run, because he has them. Amen, Apri. So that's just the area of codependency I noticed too. Also, it shows up on the job. Come on, somebody. This is how you know that it's time for you to work on yourself in regards to submitting to God to help you heal from old pain. When you're on your job and you get charged with an assignment, right? They've hired you, they know what your capabilities are, and they give you an assignment, and you start asking everybody else for feedback in regards to affirmation. I'm not talking about collaboration. I'm not talking about even using the different skill sets on the job from other people when you're working together. I'm talking about where you get so afraid of taking the lead on that thing that has been given to you that you stumble, you get stifled. I'll give you an example too. In my life, for a long season of time, I was being elevated really quickly, and I just felt like I did not have the stick to it. Like I felt like I didn't have it. I was like, what are they seeing that I don't see? And so I would sabotage it. I would leave it. I would just be like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to be somewhere else. I would leave before it got too heavy, before I got exposed. I'm telling you, but it's like, no, there's something in you that God sees in you and that He's put in you, and you've got to believe that you're capable. And if you are not able, God is able. He'll give you all wisdom. He'll give you insight. He'll give you skill sets that you didn't even know you had. Trust and believe. And so that is another example. It'll start showing up on your job, with your reviews, with your boss be like, I think you do great work, but you're always timid. You don't get the project on time because you always asking these questions instead of trying it. You don't ever try to make an attempt to figure it out before you tell me that you can't do it. These are the examples of when we really need healing from unworthiness and in areas of rejection, and have become even codependent on our bosses, codependent on our coworkers to move forward. Come on, somebody. Codependent on, listen, even codependent on ourselves. I know that might sound crazy, but how can I just be codependent on me? That's kind of like when you're just like this boss lady and you just think that you can do everything yourself, like you don't need nobody else. Come on, somebody. I was just talking to the Lord about that the other day. I was like, Lord, I need you to help me how to ask for help. Teach me how to ask for help, because I struggle in that area. I struggle personally in that area of when I'm like, I need help with this, but I don't know what to do. And it's funny because even this morning, the Lord, I was like, there's a situation that I want to do better at, something for the Lord. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, I don't know where to go with that. And the Lord showed me the person and everything. He's like, just ask her. Just ask her. I'm not asking you to make her do anything. All I'm asking you to do is ask her. Come on, Kenesha. And so I'm learning not to be just codependent on myself alone. I have a husband, I have family around me, I have friends, I have people around me that can pour into me, and not me always just pouring into other people. But if I don't just ask, right? If I don't just let them know I am vulnerable and that I too need pouring into, or I too don't have all the answers, they might not ever share. And so sometimes that happens when you grew up in a lonely place. Come on. And that was, again, due to rejection. If they didn't pick you on the kickball team, what did you do? You sat on the sideline and played with your doll or something at recess. Or maybe you stopped. I remember when I was a kid, I never used to get picked for like the extracurricular activities because I just wasn't, that kid. And I grew up a lot of times in areas where it wasn't a lot of people that looked like me. And so I would just say, I don't even want to go outside. I would make up excuses why I didn't want to go outside and play, but what happens? And I was the only child. I have brothers, but I wasn't raised with them in my younger years. And so I was accustomed to playing by myself. So what happened? I ended up creating this atmosphere of an island of one. And it came into my adulthood. Come on, somebody. Closed mouths don't get fed. Come on, Kadisha. Come on. That's right. We got to speak up and we got to share. And so unworthiness, I'm going to move over to unworthiness a little bit, but and then I'm gonna get off of here. But unworthiness is one of those things. It's again, it's like that snake. It comes sneak up on you. It don't comes not like a lion, or a lion sneak up on you too, but it don't come, like a hyena. They don't got no kind of tact. You know what I mean? They loud, they barking, they ugly, they doing all types of stuff. They dirty, they nasty. It don't show up like that. Unworthiness tends to show up really silently. It's like carbon monoxide, unfortunately, is so deadly, but it comes and creeps up silently. And it kills your dreams. It kills how you see yourself. It kills your esteem. It kills your vision. It kills the very things that is being offered to you. It's a sabotaging thing. Unworthiness. And so it's so important. You ever have somebody, I'll give you a example of unworthiness, and people might disagree with me, but when you've gotten yourself all made up and you feeling good and you looking good to yourself, and you get out there, somebody be like, girl, those shoes is bad. And you say, these old things, like, stop dumbing down what you're no, don't say these old things. I used to have a habit of telling everybody how much stuff costs. Until one of my mentors was like, if you tell me again that shirt costs $2, we're gonna have a problem. Dumbing down everything. Oh, you did a great job. Oh, it's okay. No, no, no. I didn't do it. It was a team effort. No, they told you did a great job. Thank you. Learning how to say thank you. When somebody gives you a compliment, never can receive a compliment. Always dumbing everything down. Come on, Kanisha. I know I'm talking right. It's just an area where we're being built up in our worth. Like we're already worthy enough, but it's just how we seeing ourselves. They like, girl, you looking good, and you like, oh, I still got more to go, and it's like, nah, you looking good. Come on, my Keisha, you're looking good, and it's like, we just have to believe who God says we are in order to really see it manifest in our natural lives. Listen, I don't want everybody to say that I'm incredible, right? I don't want people to be like, yo, you amazing, you a great mother, you all these things, and I get home and I just beat myself up like, you ain't a good mother, you ain't, you looked all right, your outfit was only $4. Like, I don't want to think about myself like that. I want to be worthy. You know? I want to be like that. I always say to my husband, I'm like, yo, every picture we put up on Facebook, that picture better be real. Come on, can I keep it real with y'all? I know he'd be all right with me saying that, but I want our family picture to be real. I want those moments and those times where you laughing and you posting that picture to be real. That takes work. That takes understanding worth. Oh my God, come on. So many times you get on Facebook and you see these pictures and stuff, and it's like they fake. Y'all post for the picture, but y'all just hate each other. Y'all struggling. Your kids don't even want to be in the picture with you. And you say, this is my home girl, my best friend. It's time to cultivate those relationships and make them real. Come on. Yes, someone told me a while ago, receive the compliment, Apri. It took me a long time. It took me a long time. People really thought that for a season in my life, then I started over accommodating with it. When I say over accommodating, meaning like I had to make sure that I was tight and right in order to feel worth. And it's like, yo, these clothes ain't making you. These clothes are not making you. Like, you are already worthy, even if you got on a t-shirt with holes in it. Like, you're still worthy. Them clothes are not making you, but just walking out truth. It's time to live in truth. And so I just wanted to just encourage y'all, like, to really look at your relationships and to know who you are in when you're not connected to anybody else. I want to know who I am, not just as Drew's wife, not just as Anaya and Aaliyah's mother, not just as Michelle's daughter. Like, I don't even want to be known as my title. I don't want to be known as this employee of the city, or this CEO of Simply Hadassah, or minister of the gospel. Like, I want to know who Jamaica is too. Like, Jamaica is a person, and Jamaica has value, and Jamaica doesn't have to be codependent on anyone but God. Period. So I hope that helps somebody. I just wanted to share that this morning and just push y'all through the rest of this year. We in the first quarter, and listen, it's gonna be a banger, but it ain't gonna always feel good. Like I said, truth does not always come feeling good. Period. I love y'all, and y'all be blessed, and y'all have a wonderful rest of this Saturday. I don't know. I'm just looking at y'all comments. I don't know if y'all have anything to share or anything you want to say. I'll take that opportunity now. So important in the process. I'm gonna show y'all comments real quick. So important in the process. Let me tell you, once you know your worth, my God, yo, I'm telling you, and sometimes it be false. Like you be thinking that you knew your worth until like you start feeling all type of ways when it's time for elevation. That's a lot of times when you'll start seeing that I'm struggling with my worth. When God starts saying, "All right, I want you to be my minister." Or you be like, "Ooh," oh, I want you to take that job promotion as director. You're like, nah, I'm good. Or I want you to go out there. They invited you to speak, or I had the newspaper or the news company call to talk to you. I want you to speak. That's when you'll really find out really how you see yourself and if you see yourself as worthy or not. Kamari, what's good, girl? How you doing? How are you? Apri, we're worthy. We are worthy and we're capable. God did not give us certain things that even happen with our children. We have an anointing for it, and it's just us understanding that anointing. Yes, you'll be like God. Are you sure? I'm sorry. Yes, you'll be like God. Are you sure? Yeah, you be like God. Are you sure? Like God be like making mistakes in his like decisions. Be like, yeah, no, he's sure. Come on, he's sure. But the question is like, are you sure? Like, are you sure that you aren't what happened to you? You know what I mean? Like, even as a kid, you're like, I didn't cause that divorce, or I didn't cause my parents to not be together. But something in that time, what somebody said something recently to me, they were like, you wonder what was going through your mind at that time when you were a kid, and if that seed just still remains, and sometimes it just germinates, it just starts to like multiply, and you didn't realize it because you thought it so much as a kid. Yo, kids will think a lot. Yo, kids think more than they say, and we have to address even the things that they think when God exposes it to us, like asking them questions that you're like, they ain't say they was mad, but they didn't say they were disappointed, but like God is showing me like they're disappointed because those seeds happen in those times when sometimes when they don't say anything. And I realized there was seeds that had got planted in just because of my thoughts as a kid. They got planted inside of me, and I thought for a long time things that really weren't true, like that I was a cause of certain things or whatever. And it was like, nah. So that made me just operate in a place of rejection, like where I didn't want to talk. Come on. Hey, Lindsay. And I'm gonna get off of here, but I just wanted to, I don't know, I'm just feeling pressed in that area just to share that, sometimes we'll say we don't want to speak or we don't want to talk, and it's a place of humility, but it's really not a place of humility. It's a place of unworthiness because we never got asked to speak, or nobody ever asked us, what we thought about it, and we just came up with our own idea of what happened. And sometimes that silences us. Sometimes we always want to play second. We always want to be the one drawing the curtain, but never the one on center stage. And I'm not talking about when you point yourself to the stage. I'm talking about when God says it's time, like, I'm about to use you and I want you to stand in front of the mic instead of behind the stage. And we're like, no, I do better with helping other people. He's like, nah, it's your time, and it's your season, and it's your turn. Because I have need of you. It's like, can't keep calling it, what I know. It's just what I've always known, but doesn't mean it's what I know. Like, I know that God has a plan, and that his plan always will supersede my plan, even in my own discomfort. So I love y'all. I'm off of here. But God bless you. Hit the replay. I'm gonna put a video in when I did talk about codependency in one of my YouTube videos. I have a YouTube page, All Things Kingdom by Jamaica. I think I got like almost 200 videos up there. Good stuff, man. God was moving in some of them videos, man. And when I say some of those, I mean some of the videos I'm just teaching on, affordability, operation and business and kingdom and all of that. But some of those videos, God was straight just downloading for years. Check it out. Kenesha says, thank you, Cuts, for coming on. Going to jump on a Clubhouse discussion room. You have an amazing day too. God bless y'all. I love you. Good night. And be blessed. Or not good night. Good afternoon and be blessed. All right, y'all. Peace.